Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening once again to those of you who were right on time and with us, and those of you who are just joining us right now on Zoom for this exciting webinar series. It's the Quartz Ready Cash Business Webinar Series, the first ever. I want to tell you, my name is Kalilah Reynolds, and I'm joined by
Alex Daly.
Get Paid Daily.
Alex Get Paid Daily.
Yeah, I have to sell it thing proper. Alex Get Paid Daily. And we're going to be taking you through this wonderful event this evening. I saw the comments on Facebook, like you guys are really excited for this event and what Quartz is doing right now to give back to the community. So this is going to be a really good one. We do promise a very engaging and informative discussion. And I want to know right now who you are, what your business is, and where you are watching from. So comment right now your name, your business name, and where you are joining us from, because we want to know who we're interacting with. I know you're all a lot of small business owners, a lot of micro business owners are joining us, and we want to know a little bit more about you so that we can address your specific needs. So recently, Quartz Ready Cash started offering loans to small businesses like Alex and myself, and you're going to hear more about our businesses as well this evening. And it's a unique product that fits a specific financial, it doesn't offer just a specific financial situation, but also well-needed support to build capacity and scale up. You don't want to stay small forever. It's kind of cool to say you have a small business, but you do want to, at some point in time, be able to say you have a big business, right?
You're
a
you
big
definitely want
business
to scale
owner.
up.
You come big like Quartz. Quartz didn't start off with all these locations, did they?
They didn't. They most definitely didn't. And Quartz has stayed ahead of their competitors all this time because they have continuously grown over time.
Absolutely. So this is one way that Quartz Ready Cash is connecting with the business community like you with the hope of adding value to the day-to-day operations of your business. So tonight we're going to be giving you even more support. Many of you have struggled to keep yourselves afloat as a result of the global pandemic. Challenges may vary in type and magnitude, but this series is aimed at arming micro business owners with the tools to survive. So here we have it, the topic for this evening: sink or swim, 4 things you need to know to build back better. And we saw your questions, so we know that you are eager to hear what these 4 things are. We want this to be an exciting and interactive discussion, so please do leave your comments and your questions in the chat, and we'll try our best to respond to them throughout the evening. Now, before we dive into things, let me tell you, one lucky winner, one lucky person is going to win a $50,000 shopping spree right here in Quartz. A $50,000 shopping voucher. What would you use that for, Alex?
Wow, I'm still thinking it's a lot because Quartz has so many things to offer for your personal or your business that you could use. So it's so much things.
Yeah, they
so many
have
things.
office furniture. You could do they have electronics as well, computers, tablets, that type of thing. So you're gonna have to talk to us in the chat though. So stay tuned because we'll announce the winner of that at the end of the session. We also have another really wonderful prize. One of you is going to win a free business consultation. That's like, whoa, okay. And so you have to be a registered viewer. Well, if you're watching us, you are. And you need to submit your questions. And you too will have to stay tuned to find out if you win at the end of the session. So, Alex, we're ready to start giving these 4 things, right?
We are.
This is the meat of the matter now. We're coming to it. So the first thing that a business owner who's struggling to survive during these times needs to know is what?
You have to know your business.
You have to know your business. It might sound like duh, like obvious, but you do have to know your business. So let's introduce ourselves and our businesses. What's your business, Alex?
All right, so my business is called True Designs Creative Studio. We focus on graphic designs and printing, and our target market is really the small business or small persons. So we start from the smallest thing, from designing the logo to printing it to doing the embroidery to doing the signs as big as a building. So we focus from the small to large, and hopefully one day we can have as many locations as Quartz.
Right, True Designs. All right. So you've been in business how long?
We've been in business for about 4 to 5 years.
4 to 5 years. So you're longer than me because I've only been in business for about less than 3 years. My business is called Kalilah Reynolds Media, and we make business and finance easy to understand through social media content. So we produce video content, different types of content, but primarily video for social media, YouTube, Instagram, and some other platforms as well. And our objective is to make business and finance easy to understand for the average person who wants to invest and so on. So that's what we do. That's my business. You spoke about competition. Who's your, well, let me not ask you who's your competition, but that's one of the things that you need to know in business, right? You need to understand.
You have to know your competitors.
Right.
Because it helps you to pace yourself. You have to know what your competitor is doing. If your competitors are offering a better service than you, if they're offering better prices, because this will also help you to price your goods.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, you don't necessarily have to try to do exactly what they're doing, but at least you understand what they're doing on their end so that you can say, you know what, if a customer comes and say, I'm getting this here, you can say, well, that's not true, because we know Jamaican customers are sometimes they try to pit, company against company. I'm getting it better at this here. Mm-hmm. So what are you offering me? Which is good, but if you know what your competitor is offering, you can decide how you're going to pace yourself moving forward.
You mentioned a really key point earlier. You said you can compete on price or you can compete on service. Yeah. So you can do both, but I think competing on service is really, really key, providing a better service than your competitors. So you don't always have to be the cheapest option. When people come to you for the service and the value that you provide, that really is going to keep them coming back.
That is definitely true, because sometimes the price doesn't actually match the service that you want, and if you're aiming to be better, you have to look better. So you have to provide better service, and the better your service, you can actually request more money in a lot of cases. So your price can be as high as to the moon, and person might say, but their price is so expensive. But when you actually do the comparison, what you're getting for your money, it's worth it.
Yeah, and you get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for.
That's what it comes down to. You get what you pay for. So in my industry now, I'm in the media industry and talking about business and finance. So my competition in the space is really traditional media. So you have the TVJ, RJ, the newspapers. They're providing some of that type of content, but what I try to do is provide it in a different way than they do. So I try to fill a need for the people who don't really understand the way that people are talking on those platforms. So you come to me and then you become exclusive provider of this type of service because nobody else is doing it. So you do want to look at what your competition is doing and what they are not providing. So if you have a business and you're in graphics business, Alex, and you find customers always complaining that they went to a certain place and they didn't get something.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I focus on. Is I have this thing that I always say to my friends, and sometimes my wife and I discuss, and we sit and we look for the gap. My mentor always tell me, look for the gap and fill that gap. So see a gap, fill a gap. That's a key. It doesn't matter which industry you're in. If your competitor has a gap, look for that gap, fill that gap. If you can fill that gap, you will definitely be way ahead, because that's something that no one else is doing. And if someone catches up, look for another gap. There's always a gap.
That's brilliant. I hope you're taking notes. So write that down. That's a great gem. Look for the gap. What are your competitors doing? What gaps do they have? And how can you, as a small business, fill that need? You also mentioned something else. You started talking about it with pricing. So how to price it can be very tricky, especially when you're just starting.
It's tricky. And in my industry, all right, so a few of my competitors, I definitely won't mention them, but my competitors may have higher prices than I do in some cases. And in some cases, I have higher prices than some of my other competitors. And when I look at what my overheads are, I have to put that into my budget to say, all right, these are what my monthly expenses are in order to keep the business afloat. So even though your prices, you may want to price your products close to your competitors, if it doesn't provide you the income that you need to actually float your business, then that's a definite no-no. You have to price your business. You make your prices according to what you're spending and know your break-even point. So you have to know, okay, this is where I break even. If I'm gonna do this just to survive or for a marketing strategy, what's my break-even point? And then everything beyond this will be profit.
I'll give you a perfect example, Alex. So I have a daughter who's a teenager, and she started this business. She started multiple businesses. I don't remember what this particular one was. And she was selling beauty products. She would buy beauty products and sell them to her friends. And she was selling them at a price where she was selling them for less than what she paid for them. And I said, but that doesn't make any sense. She said, but my friends can't afford that price. I said, well, then you don't have a business, because you're not making any money. Exactly, because she got her dad to invest in the products, to buy the products for her, so she doesn't feel it. Yeah, but eventually the business has to sustain itself. So you need to know what are the expenses that you have, all of the expenses. Write down every single thing that you spend money on for your business. Know what all those monthly expenses are, and then when you are pricing your products, you have to price it at a point where you can recover all of your expenses and make a profit. That is that's like just the basics of business. If you don't do that, you don't have a business. It's gonna be unsustainable. Your business is going out of business very quickly. And then the other part of that is knowing your customer. And we're gonna come to that some more a little bit later, because if you are trying to sell something that your customer base can't afford, then maybe it's not necessarily that you don't have a sustainable business, you're just targeting the wrong people.
You have to pick your target audience.
Yes. So we will look at that a little bit more later. But first, let's come to our second tip, our second thing, and that is knowing your problem. Why you laugh?
No, that's a big thing. Because when I just started out, a lot of persons, and my close friends would point out, you know what, this is a problem. And my wife would sometimes say to me, you know what, this is your problem, but I could not see it. And there are problems that a lot of small business owners face. And because we think we're doing it right, or because we have a specific vision or goal, we think we're doing it right. And we don't audit ourselves to figure out, okay, this is the real problem. And if we actually do an audit of our business or sometimes ourselves of how we operate our business, then we'll know exactly, oh my God, I've been doing this wrong all along. So you have to really sometimes take a step back and look at the bigger picture to actually see the problems that's right there in front of you.
That's so true. And there are two different ways to approach this. So you can know the problem that your business is solving for your customers, but you also need to know what problems your business itself has. Like, why are people not buying from you? Why are you losing customers? Why don't you have repeat business? What are the problems that your own business faces? So let's look at some of the common ones. Inventory can be a problem. You're low on inventory. Every time they come to you for the product, you don't have the product. They have to be going all over the place trying to find the product. The inventory is a problem. Technology can be a problem. You are lacking in that department. You're slow on keeping up with the innovation in your business. That's super important.
It is very important. We have to be keeping ahead of the times, doing research all the time. We have to be researching new things, new ways, faster ways to do things better, or we're gonna left behind. I remember when one of my partners said to me, hey, you know what? Vinyl is the way to go. And I was like, no, I'm good with screen print. Screen print is gonna last forever. And she's probably watching this now being like, yep, I said so. But she did say to me that, vinyl was gonna be the thing. And I said, no, screen print is gonna last forever. And then about a year after, I was like, you know what? I gotta get me a vinyl machine. And she's like, I told you. So you definitely have to keep up with the technology that will help your business to grow faster and produce faster and better quality work.
For me, a perfect example is starting TikTok, because we do social media. We do primarily Instagram and YouTube videos. And people have been saying, you need to be on TikTok. And I'm like, another thing, another platform to keep up with. And I was really reluctant. And then I started TikTok, and you just see the explosive growth like immediately.
I am still afraid of TikTok.
You're still afraid? You need to get on TikTok.
I am on TikTok, but it's just so hard to keep up with TikTok because it keeps changing and integrating so many things.
It's fun though.
It is fun. It is fun.
I was hesitant, but so now I'm all in. Yeah. Skills is another one, another common problem that businesses have. You just don't have the right skill set within your business, whether it's you're trying to do, let's say you get into business because you are a carpenter and you like to make lovely tables like this one, and you are excellent at making tables. You're a great carpenter, really innovative. Your stuff is beautiful. But you're not so great at managing the books. You're not a good accountant, right? That's a completely different skill set that you need in your business. And so you have to identify that you need to either you invest in acquiring that skill for yourself by taking a course, or you need to hire somebody who is going to do that. So skills.
But I think a huge part of that is, I speak with a lot of young entrepreneurs coming up, and they're like, you know what? I don't want to be spending this money. Is there a shortcut around it? And sometimes, taking that shortcut ends up costing more in the future because they don't understand. And we were not taught. One of the things that I wish that any government that comes in power would do is focus on promoting proper money management skills from high school, like from first farm, money management skills from first farm, second farm, third farm, all the way up.
Yeah, absolutely right. I'll tell you, one of the mistakes I made in my business, Alex, was not hiring an accountant earlier. Like, I thought I could just do it all myself, QuickBooks and using an Excel spreadsheet. I'm like, this is easy. Just put in the stuff in the column here and the column there. And when tax time came around, it was not so easy. And it did end up costing me more in the end, rather than just hiring the accountant up front. And you can hire somebody part-time on contract. They don't have to be a full-time member of staff if you're not at that level yet.
That is something that definitely caught me initially because I did not understand the tax system. And then one day I was at the office, and then someone from the tax office just showed up. She showed up, was like, okay, I am definitely in trouble. And she did explain it to me, and I was like, wow, but this was real, and it was this easy. And I was like, okay, you know what, I got this. And then I got help and had most of my stuff sorted out. And then eventually, so every year now I know exactly what to do, who to call, as long as everything is kept in check.
Yeah.
But it's about knowing, and persons don't know, and they're scared of what they don't know.
Yeah.
So I think we need to have better awareness of why you should, simple things like why you should register your business.
Listen, that right there is a huge point, because so many people are afraid of registering their business because they're afraid of paying taxes.
But there are benefits of paying taxes.
Many benefits of registering.
So many benefits, and the tax benefits that persons don't get, they don't understand. But
like what benefit?
For example, if you're like myself, my car, if I have to travel to the country or anywhere for business purposes, the gas that I buy is a part of my tax write-off because it's a business expense. I'm going to do business. If I buy furniture for the business, so persons don't understand that. Okay, so maybe you had $1 million in total, but from that you ended up, because you're building, you ended up spending $700,000 or $800,000. How much money will be taxed from that? Your accountant will help you to understand that, okay, not because you made $1 million, not all of this is taxable, this is how it works. And persons don't understand that.
Right, because they tax the profits.
They tax the profits.
They don't tax all the money that you make, your whole revenue. It's just the profit that gets taxed. So that's really important to understand. And when it comes to registering your business, there are so many benefits. I feel like the benefits absolutely outweigh Well, the pros absolutely outweigh
Always the
the cons in this instance, because when you register, now you are able to access a bank loan or come to Quartz Ready Cash and use that to get money for your business. And not only that, you can access grant funding, and there are tons of grants out there for small businesses from the government, the DBJ, you have the CDB, you have all kinds of organizations that are offering basically free money. For example, the DBJ has a program called the Voucher for Technical Assistance, and that's basically free money. If you want to build a website for your business, you can apply for that voucher and they'll pay for the website. If you need to get your financial statements, apply for the voucher and they'll pay for your financial statements. And that costs you absolutely nothing, but you have to be registered. And registration is pretty easy at the company's office.
It's pretty easy. And if someone's out there with their micro business, they say, you know, I'm not ready to go big company, you can start as a sole trader. Just secure your name, build from that point, and then once you have built to the point where you think, okay, no, I want to protect my personal assets, you go LLC and you should be fine. But persons don't understand that. Okay, securing the business name. For example, I have a friend who he just got his name secured. So he was saying to me, you know what? I don't want to go all in as yet. I'm starting small. So I explained the difference to him, the protection that an LLC will give you versus going as a sole trader. And he was like, all right, you know what? I'll start as a sole trader, because initially he had a name that he wanted to go with years ago, and he didn't secure that name. While he was just trying to build slowly, and then by the time he was ready to, someone took the name, and it was like maybe like a few months before someone registered the name. I was like, so no, I was like, listen, just start small, work with it, and you know, if you get someone that, like, if you get an accountant that can help you just balance the tax stuff, just keep your receipts, ensure that you keep all the paperwork in check, that will help you and you don't have to worry.
Yeah, that is a very common problem, Alex. Like people don't realize you don't register your name and then you start doing business in this business name for months or even years, and then you finally go to register the name and the name is gone.
And it sometimes that the name is gone. There's something so close to the name that you can't get it.
Yeah.
And that's what even hurts even more.
But company's office lets you do a free search on the website.
Yes.
So you can search to see if there are any similar names, and if there is, then you find something else. But at the very beginning of your business, register your business, at the very least, register the business name so that you don't run into problems later on when it comes to that. So we have a few questions already. And I think this last one that I'm seeing here kind of segues into what we were just talking about, Alex. The last question is, why is it always so difficult to get financing for your business? And one of the reasons for that is that businesses aren't registered.
That is.
If you're not registered, you're not gonna get the financing. And then the other reason, well, go ahead.
No, I think that this is what you're gonna get to. That persons don't trust the banks, or they don't keep proper accounting of their expenses.
Yes, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
So they don't keep proper accounting for their expenses. And simple things like, okay, even though I made $10,000 today and I need $9,000 tomorrow, put it in the bank. Let the bank see it that, okay, I am making some money. And if you want to come to an institution like Quartz Ready Cash for a loan, they see your financials that, okay, listen, I have money going in and out. It's not a lot, but at least I have a steady cash flow.
Right.
Then when they look at your statement, they'll say, all right, you know what? Maybe you're not ready for $1 million, but we'll lend you 500,000.
Right.
But
so that's what they call the flows. They want to see the flows. And on that point, make sure that you separate your personal bank account from your business bank account. So you don't want to just be taking money from the business here, there, and everywhere. You need something, you just take money from the business, and the business finances is flowing through your personal account. Even if it's in your same name, just have a separate account, because a sole trader, you kind of have trading in your same name, but have a separate account that all the business transactions are going through. And if possible, pay yourself a regular salary rather than just taking money because you need rent, taking money whenever you need it out of the business.
Yeah. Send yourself a bank transfer to yourself.
Yep.
So when you go for something for yourself, you can say, okay, this is my business account. So even though it's a sole trader, this is what I pay myself every month, a set amount. Or if you're going to pay yourself bi-weekly, whatever it is.
Absolutely. A problem that I've heard small business owners complain of is that they're unable to get a personal loan for themselves, but their employees can get a personal loan. So you can write a job letter for your employee, and the employee takes that to the bank and uses that to get a personal loan. But then when you, as the business owner, try to get a personal loan from the bank, you're denied, and you're the business owner. And business owners are always like, well, why? That don't even make any sense. But it's for the same reason in many instances, because you have bundled or bungled your business finances and your personal finances. If you list yourself as an employee of the company and you show where you're getting a regular salary from the company, now that makes you look a little bit more stable and a little bit more credit worthy as a person who's trying to borrow some money. So there's that. And then the last point under this, under Know Your Problem, is customer service.
Wow.
And should we even get started on customer service in Jamaica, Alex?
I don't even know where to start. I sometimes I think persons, may think that I hate some institutions because when they see me making posts on my Instagram or other places, they might see me posting. I may make a public complaint. And they say, but you have a public voice. Why would you lash out at a company like this? And I'm saying, well, I really want them to fix the problem, because we have problems that companies, sometimes admittedly, that the higher heads probably don't see this. But I think that businesses should have maybe at least once per year, you have a customer service training that will help your staff to understand. So if you have to, listen, take them on a retreat for the weekend, close for a day, have someone come in, train your staff, that day's worth of sale will definitely, you'll make that back if your staff has proper customer service. Because I've been to government institutions, private institutions, like almost everywhere, and the customer service is horrible. And then sometimes you go to the man on the street, the jelly man, and the customer service is so awesome that you want to stay, because sometimes
they treat you with so much love.
Treat you with so much love. I don't know how we are gonna correct this unless companies say, okay, you know what, this is what you have to do, and it has to start from the lowest person to the highest person.
Absolutely. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. Very recently, I saw this nail salon. I wanted to go do my nails. I saw this nail salon on Instagram. They've been doing a great job of marketing their product on Instagram with all their designs, to the point where I'm finally like, okay, I want to give this place a try. So I call the number on their Instagram account and I say, hi, I'd like to make an appointment. And the person is like, we don't do appointments by phone. Or so. I don't even remember what the person said. She said, do you have a reservation? I said, oh, no, that's why I'm calling, to make an appointment. And she was just giving me all kind of attitude, and I wasn't understanding what was going on. And then finally she said, oh, you have to make the appointment on the website. Like, so why I never just said that from the beginning, rather than giving me all this runaround? And the other thing is that on their Instagram, it didn't say that make the appointment on the website. It just had a phone number. So naturally, I called the phone number. And of course, what ended up happening is I didn't make the appointment and I didn't go. Because it could have been a new customer.
I'm sure if she had said that from the get-go, like, hey, okay, we don't take phone appointments, it has to go to the website, you'd probably be like, okay, that's understandable, and probably taking the opportunity to go and do that.
I got all this attitude, like I was supposed to know that I was supposed to go to the website, and of course, they lost a potential new customer. So simple things like that, because you as the business owner might be doing everything right, marketing the business, you have this beautiful Instagram page and you're doing all you can to get people to call, and then that's just that one person who answers the phone messes up your business opportunity.
That happens. And also, a thing that we need to do is sometimes we need to just interact with our customers, ask them, are you okay? What could we do better? Just a simple question as that, I think, can help us sometimes, because sometimes we think we're doing the best job or we're doing an okay job, but we could do better based on what our customers are expecting of us. And we think we're doing the best sometimes, but we need to actually just step up our game a little bit.
All right, so here's another question, Alex, and there's tons of them. How can a business plan be effectively used in the growing of your business? Have you done a business plan?
I have a business plan.
Okay.
Okay, so remember, if you are doing your business plan, and by the way, you mentioned DBJ earlier, for persons who don't have a business plan, DBJ has awesome plans that will help young entrepreneurs and persons who don't know how to write a business plan.
And you can also get a voucher.
Yeah, you can get a voucher.
So they will pay for your business plan.
So they'll help you to get the assistance that you need to write your business plan, which will focus on, okay, what's the mission for your business? Who's your target audience? Where do you want to go with your business? So you have all of that information that is in your business plan is like a guide. It's like a roadmap that if you follow that, I mean, barring a few things that you won't see coming like COVID, and I mean, there are often some contingencies for other situations, but I mean, your business plan will give you like a roadmap to say, okay, I'm going to St. Mary. First, I'm going to go to Constant Spring, then I'm going to Stony Hill, and then I'm going to Golden Spring, and then so forth and so forth. So this is a roadmap to how you will manage your business, what your target goals are, your 5-year plan, and all of this. It works as one big bundle. So when you put this together, and by the way, when you have your business plan and you approach a bank, even as a new business, you still may qualify for a loan. So you just have to just put it together right.
Yeah, and that's one of the mistakes that businesses make too, Alex, is not doing a business plan. Because like you said, you have your targets. If you don't know what you're working towards, then what's the point of what you're doing, right? And that's one of the mistakes I made. I didn't have any plan. I was just like, oh, people want to pay me to do a certain thing. I'll just take what I can get. Okay, take something here, take something there, and you just, you're kind of feeling in the dark about what you're doing, but there was no real plan behind it. But the day I sat down and really thought about what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go and what the goals were for the company, it became that much easier to get to the goal when you know what the goal actually is. You can just Google what is a business plan. Google how to write a business plan. Google is your best friend as a business owner. There's so many free resources on Google and YouTube. You have a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. I've done episodes on writing business plans. I did a recent one as well, so you can check that out. Just Google anything you don't know. Google.
The University of YouTube.
The University of YouTube. Yeah. All right. So we have some more questions, but let's get into our third area that we want to focus on, which is know your customer. Why is this important, Alex?
Wow. Well, this is definitely important, because if you don't know your customers, you can't give them what they need. How can I give someone what they need? Someone may walk into my door and be like, I'm a small business, and sometimes they have the basic idea of what they want, but if you know what your customer really needs or what they're looking for based on their explanation, because customers often, you deal with people. They know what they want, they just don't know how to tell you what they want. So you have to be able to know your customer in that sense, that when they explain what they're saying, it goes back to how you actually know how to price your products, and you have to explain, what it is you're going to be doing. If you know your customer, you'll be able to say, okay, this is what is best for you. Because someone comes in and say, I want a logo. A Kalilah Reynolds logo will not be a Get Paid Daily logo or a Quartz logo. Each of them will have something different about it. Because even with the Quartz logo, the Quartz Ready Cash logo is still its own independent logo, separate from the Quartz logo. So you have to know your customers in that sense. And this will help you to effectively create a guide as to what you're putting towards them in order for them to either promote their business in marketing in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, you have to know who you're targeting. And a lot of people, here's another common mistake. You say, well, who's your customer? And you say, well, I want everybody to buy it. Everybody is my potential customer. I want old people, young people, men, women, pregnant women, non-pregnant women, to all buy this product. But you got to look at, well, in the beginning, one of the things you can look at is who is actually buying your product. So you may think that your customer is everybody, or you may think that you created this product for older men, but then when you look at who's actually buying, you realize that pregnant women for some reason love this product. Then you need to start marketing directly to pregnant women, because they are your customer, not necessarily the one that you wanted, but that's who actually is buying. And how do you find out who your customer is? On social media, it's a little bit easy because you can just look at your analytics, make sure you have a business account, switch the business from a personal account. But if you're selling in a brick and mortar shop, go to the shop, stand up near the aisle where your stuff is, and look and see who's buying. Look and see who is interested, who picks it up and puts it down. That's the type of in-person market research that can be super, super effective. Find out who actually is buying and what locations. So if you have your product at several different locations, you can find out, okay, well, it's selling really well in this community, but not so well in that community. Well, let me put more resources, rather than trying to get more people from community A who aren't buying. Put more resources in community B who are buying, and try to find out why they're buying and who are the people buying.
That's why there is a reason for someone who drives an Audi and someone who drives a Toyota, because the Audis are for the Audi customer, and they will not market. Well, even though the ad may seem to come across for the Toyota customer is just going to stick to Toyota. And the Audi customer is going to be like, okay, I'm going to stick with Audi and these kinds of vehicles. So you have to definitely know your customer.
And on the point of knowing your customer, let me give you a little hack here. Finding a niche can really get you paid.
See a gap?
Niching down can really get you paid. So rather than casting that wide net and trying to bring in everybody, if you really define a smaller subset of people who can be loyal to your brand and to your product, you have a much better chance of winning them over as not just customers, but repeat customers, and they become loyal to you. And I have benefited from that in my business. So we've niched into business content. So we're not just that influencer who's trying to get everybody to watch. I want a certain type of person to watch my content. So we know from our demographic, from our analytics, who are the people who are watching and where are they hanging out? Where can we find them? And what do we want to tell them? Once you have a niche, you can just own that niche and just be the boss of it. And that can command a higher rate for your product or service.
See a gap, fill a gap.
See a gap, fill a gap. Yeah, you guys need to repeat that. Say it out loud to me. Type it in the comments. See a gap, fill a gap. See a gap, fill a gap. By the time you leave here this evening, you need to be repeating that all over. And the last point under this one is cost-effective ways to promote your business. And I saw that in the comments as well. Somebody was asking about a very similar question, cost-effective ways to promote your business. So how do you go about promoting your business, Alex?
Well, since of late, I do use social media, but I try to have strategies that will engage my customers using their social media. So to tag us, to comment, to like, to however we can get them to engage, because the best way is word of mouth. Like word of mouth promotion is better than any amount of promotion that you can spend on Google, on TV, on radio, because you're hearing it on the radio, but it's like, yeah, you're seeing it on the TV, but you're like, yeah. But somebody comes to you and say, hey, Kalilah, you know what? I went to that nail salon down the road, and girl, it was good. The price is right. The customer service is on point. Then you're gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna try it. So if someone recommends it to you, so we try to attack it from the point of we utilize social media, but not so much forced ads. We try to get our customers engaged, so we have generic traffic. We don't force it, because I've seen Instagram pages with 10,000 followers or 5,000 followers, and then you make a post trying to engage your customer and you get 20 likes, 2 comments. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And then there are smaller Instagram pages with maybe 500 or 1,000 followers, and you make a post and it's like you have 1,500 comments, you have 200 likes, and you're like, okay,
your
customers are very engaged, or even persons who are not your customers are interested. So the chances for you to actually get a larger customer base is there. It's because you have an active audience following you. So we try to engage our customer on social media and in print media, because we do printing. It would be horrible for us not to have print to have print stuff.
True.
But we try to do whatever it is that our customers will feel comfortable using back to say, okay, let's use this method.
Yeah. Let me give you another hack, guys. Email. Email marketing is so key. It's so beneficial in so many ways. I built my business on social media, right? But the email is really the key to keeping that customer and really converting that social media follower to somebody who's going to spend with your business. And let me tell you why. I just learned this just by doing my show recently as well. I had somebody on my program, and he was telling me that when you post something to social media, Instagram only shows it to like 5-6% of your audience, maybe maximum 10% of all your followers. But when you send something via email, everybody gets that email. Everybody will see it in their inbox, and they will choose whether or not they will click through to it. And the average click-through rates on emails, the average email opens when you send an email is about 30%. So compare that to 5 to 6% of your followers seeing your Instagram post, to 30% of your email subscribers clicking or opening that email. How many times have you gotten a marketing email from a company that said, today only 50% off, and you immediately open that email, right?
Yes, I have seen that.
But if you post it on Instagram, not everybody's gonna see that you had a sale today.
That is true.
But if you send it to their email now, everybody's going to see that you had a sale today, and you can convert that immediately because you can put the link in your email and they can just click on it. One of the disadvantages on Instagram is that they don't allow you to use the links in the post caption.
That is just a very sad disadvantage. It's a very sad disadvantage that Instagram offers. So, but the thing about email,
and that's low cost.
I do
it
like
can
that.
Be free in the beginning. It's free, and then when you get to a certain number of subscribers, you have to start paying for the service.
But by that time,
it's a low cost.
But by that time, you should be making enough money from your customers to actually pay for it. But customers, you should definitely warn your customers as well about phishing and spam emails, because I get like a ton load of those. Like every day I'm sifting through spam and phishing, and that's one of the reasons why some persons are afraid of emails. But if you want to, for example, for your show, I have actually subscribed to your newsletter, but not with my regular email, because I have an email address that I use to subscribe to these things.
Right.
I like how you listen. You have a newsletter out, you send a notification, and everybody gets that. But persons have a tendency to, okay, this is Kalilah's email, so it's Kalilah.Ray, and then they're gonna copy that and say Kalilah Ray . So persons have to look out for these as well.
Yeah.
This is something that I I've been seeing more and more where persons are using these phishing emails to capture persons' data. So we have to also, bring that to the attention of persons.
Right. There's a related question here. Somebody's asking, what are the best social media avenues to advertise my small business? That goes back to knowing your audience, to knowing your customer. Right. So where are the platforms that your customers are spending the most time?
Are they on TikTok, Instagram?
If you have a younger audience, then you might want to use TikTok. If you have an older audience, Facebook definitely is where it's at. If you have maybe millennials, you might want to look at Instagram. So look at who your audience is and where they're spending time online. And that will help you to determine what are the best social media platforms for you to advertise your particular business. All right, so we are running a little bit low on time now. We are coming to the final segment of this program, and we have to get into the last tip that we have, Alex, which is...
Know your cash flow.
Know your cash flow. What does that mean?
Wow. You have to know where your money is coming in, where it's going out. It's pretty simple if you are able to create a budget. So if you can create a budget for your business, and I as a small business, I'd say it's sometimes not easy to keep that exact budget. But if you have miscellaneous areas within your budget, it should help you to keep your budget intact. So you have to know how much money you're going to be paying your staff, what your utilities are generally like. You can't keep track of something like JPS and water because these things are running. Those
bills do their own thing sometimes.
Those things are running wild. But for the things that you can keep track of, put those in a budget. Mm-hmm. If you can put those in your basic budget, which includes things that you normally have, and after you've been running for a while, you know what your inventory generally needs, or how much money you generally spend on getting raw material for your inventory at the end of the month. So I would know on my end how much vinyl I need, how much crack and peel paper, how much cardstock paper do I need, this amount of toners, what toners normally run out first. And these things, you put these things in place and you'll definitely have an idea of how your money will be going in and out. And then along with your budget, you have a calendar of some sorts as to, okay, this bill needs to be paid by that time. Mm-hmm. This needs to be paid by that time. I need to set up this service so that this reminder that we need to call these customers to collect our money.
Yes.
Because this is something that used to miss me. But by utilizing technology, my accounting software now reminds the customers 3 days before it's due, 2 days before it's due, or 7 days before it's due, and then also sends me a notification. So that I'll say, oh, okay, all right, so this person owes us. Let's give them a day. Let's call them on the day, and then if we don't get through, let's call them back and see what's up with that payment. But it's about budgeting and keeping track. And like we mentioned in the beginning, about utilizing the technology and hiring skills that you don't have. Mm-hmm. That will definitely help you.
I love that you automated that process to remind customers to pay, because that's a problem that a lot of business owners have. And for some reason, especially women, like you don't want to call, you're so scared to call the customer. And so you'd get mad. And I was just listening to a podcast where the guest was talking about this, right? Just today. And the person was saying, so the person is a small business coach. And she's talking to her clients. And one of the big complaints of her clients is that people aren't paying their invoices on time. And she asked them, well, did you call them and remind them to pay the invoice? And all of them said no. And she's like, well, they could have just forgotten. It happens. You can just forget.
Sometimes people forget.
All you need is a little nudge. It can be a phone call. It can be an email. In my experience, once I send an email saying overdue or almost due, I tend to get a response very quickly. Sometimes there are those clients that you have to, be behind. But for the most part, you just need to send a little reminder, and it's awesome that you can actually have software that automates this, so you don't have to get nervous trying to send an email and word that appropriately. You just have the software send it for you automatically. Another thing that I'm going to say to do is start out with a simple spreadsheet. And if you don't know what a spreadsheet is, Google what is a spreadsheet, how to use a spreadsheet. Just start out with a simple spreadsheet. You have Microsoft Excel, which is a very popular one, but you also have Google Sheets, which has some limitations, but the reason I love Google Sheets is that you can actually add it to the home screen of your phone. So I have Google Sheet. I have the spreadsheet for my business. Well, you can't really get close, but if you see right here, it says Budget 2021, and that's actually a link to my Google Sheets spreadsheet for my business right on the home screen of my phone. So you don't have to, if you have an unexpected expense for the business, you don't have to wait until you get home and get it on the laptop to log that expense. You can just put it right there on your phone, and it's as simple as that. So yeah, that's a really big one, Alex.
Yeah, and speaking of Google, I actually use Google Tasks. This is something that I definitely have on my phone right here.
Google Tasks.
Google Tasks, and how we utilize Google Tasks is, let's say we have some tasks at the office, or if I'm on the road and I am actually logging something for a client. So I'm logging it in the system, and while I log it in the system, I also put it on our task list. Now we have someone who's checking this task list, and then everyone that has access to these files, they're able to check it on their computer. So it's right there on your computer. So we ensure that once you log in, it's there. You cannot miss it. And we can set reminders for these. We can assign them to persons. So I can set a task and assign it to Kalilah or Sam or whoever that I want to take control of this, and this is a free tool. So persons are always asking, I don't want to pay for this or I don't want to pay for that. There are so many free tools out there, and persons don't realize that if they utilize Google, Google is your best friend. Like we said, Google is your best friend.
Write that down. Google is your best friend.
So many tools that if you utilize in your regular Gmail account, I pay for extra storage and some of the premium stuff that Google has, but for the regular stuff, you can get so many free things that persons like. I don't understand how I don't understand how to do this, and I think I'm not sure who said it, but this saying that is a really common saying that said if you want to hide something from let's say black people,
put it in a
book, but it's just put it somewhere where they should read it, because I don't think we read enough, and even though the information is right there, they still don't want to read it.
That's so true. Well, put it on YouTube now, they will see it.
Well,
YouTube is like the biggest search engine now, right?
It is. But in our market on YouTube, I find that while we are at a certain niche point, we do have I don't know if it's a disadvantage, but I want to say, even though persons want the information, they don't go looking for the information. Because when I compare our market on YouTube to what others are offering out there, we are, I would say, lagging, not because we don't have good content, but because persons are more interested in other things. Like, this is a huge opportunity for persons to come and learn something today, and we should have thousands of persons on here today, but I'm sure that we don't have a realistic amount of persons that we would ideally want, because there are thousands of small businesses in Jamaica and small persons with a business idea, but they'd rather focus on the entertainment value of their life rather than spend a half an hour or hour to focus on the financial aspect of growing yourself financially. And that is a huge problem, huge problem that I think we're facing, because persons don't reach out to you until they're in trouble, when they could have simply maybe just do that little bit of research, a little bit of YouTube, or a little bit of Google, and save themselves from a whole lot of money or a whole lot of trouble.
Absolutely. There's so many free resources out there that just look. So here's another great question, Alex. My business is not making enough money to restock. If I take a loan, I would be incurring more debt. What should I do?
Oh, wow. Something is wrong somewhere along the line there. Because your business should be making enough money to sustain, at least break even. If you're not at least breaking even, you need to go back to knowing your customer.
It might be pricing.
And changing the price. You have to change your price.
Could be that you have a problem with an employee stealing from you, which happens a lot in Jamaica.
That happens a lot.
So you need to really take a close look at your numbers. What is the problem? And that goes back to our second tip. Know your problem. Why isn't your business making enough to restock? Why is that? Is it a pricing issue? Is it because if you're selling,
that means you should be making some money.
If you're selling, you should be selling at a profit. And the profit should be enough to not only restock, but earn you a profit, have something extra in the bank.
Which is why persons need to actually also have a budget. At least a general budget of the things that you have control of.
Right.
So that
restocking is a issue. Restocking means that you have sold product.
Yeah. So you should make some money.
Because if the product isn't selling, then you don't need to restock. You still have product. But if you need to restock and you don't have the money, where did the money go?
It's going somewhere and it's not going in the right place, or the price is wrong.
Right. And in terms of stuff, that's the first thing that you need to do. Identify what the problem is right there. Why don't you have the money to restock? And then once you've identified that, you're looking at the possibility of incurring debt to restock. Well, now you need to look at what is the interest rate on the debt that you are borrowing, and what can you afford to repay that loan with the sales that you're making and the profit level that you're currently making. So again, you need to look at pricing. So can the price that you're currently selling at sustain the business and repay this loan?
Maybe they're taking the approach of your daughter. So they're selling at a loss because they're trying to keep the customers. But that's definitely something that they have to look at.
Yeah, they need to figure that out.
Because I recently had to change some prices because my suppliers have been going up over the last 2 years and I have not been going with them. And then I've been looking at where my profit margins are, and I'm like, this can't work any longer. I have to move up the line, and that's just how it goes in business. You have to change your prices in order to survive. And if you look, I think that all the major companies, even though persons are saying, but why are these companies so thief, for want of a better word? They have to. Because if they don't, and then the company shuts down, you're going to be like, a big company like this shut down. Because if courts don't change their prices and keep their prices at the same, and with the rise in electricity costs, inflation, paying staff, everything that they have to pay out behind the scenes that persons don't see, and then courts going, you hear it on the news that courts is in debt or they're going bankrupt, you're going to be like, what? No, how courts will be in debt? So persons, don't think about this a lot of times. So you have to definitely have those things in mind.
Well, Alex, I have great news because it's time to announce the winners of our 2 contests. Yes.
Well,
so
if you win, I would like half of your $50,000.
I have a claim, half it, man. All right. So the winner, should I announce it now? Not yet? Okay, all right, not yet. We're gonna give you a little bit more time. See, I'm getting ahead of myself because I like the prize part, I like the winning part. All right, so let's go on to we have some more stuff. Yeah, we have some more questions. And somebody wants to know, can a farmer get registered? That's a great question. A farm is a business.
That's a big business.
A farm is a business. Agriculture is one of the biggest businesses in Jamaica.
It is. Like farms make, so you know what, brother, if you're watching this, you know, I'm not selling you out, but my brother is a part-time farmer, and I've been on the farm several times, and we have, you know, some talks, and he asks me questions, and like, how do I do this, or how do I get by with that? You know, what's the best approach to take with this business-wise? And after having multiple conversations with him, I realized that if you can start with less than nothing as a farmer, you just want a small piece of land, and if you're determined and you have the right, the right business plan and proper management, farmers in Jamaica can do so much. Because sometimes he's telling me that, listen, I don't have hand to sell all the products that I have, and one company will come and say, listen, I need everything here. So he has nothing to sell to the locals or the regular people. And sometimes even I want something and I can't get it because there's not enough. And I realized that even though there are companies like RADA who offer offer some services to farmers, farmers don't know that they can reach out and sign up and get assistance with seedlings and these things. And even DBJ has lots of grants for farmers. And when like there's a rainy season or something gets washed out, and then the government does offer some assistance, because you're not registered, you miss out on these opportunities. So there are lots of persons that, when I remember last year when so many of the grants were being given out to different sectors, persons are like, but you know, me can't get none. And then you look, are you registered? No. So how are you going to apply for something that you can't get? And then you say, but it's only big businesses. No, it's the regular person. If you register and you register in the right places, this is why sometimes persons always say the rich will get richer, but the poor or person in a smaller situation does have the potential to earn a lot of money if they follow the right channels. If they follow the right channels, it's right there in front of you. Just read a little bit, follow the right channels, look out for when the free money is being given away, and then jump on the train.
And farming, like I said, is absolutely a business. So yes, a farmer can register your business, your company, your business name. You should register. You can do that right now. Since you're asking the question, go on company's office website and do that right now. It doesn't take long. It's not that difficult. The cost is pretty low. So go ahead and register your business, or at least start the process.
It's really low. It's like 3,500.
Something like that, yeah.
3,500. You can start there, unless you're going LLC, which is a little bit more expensive.
Right.
Start small. Since you're willing to start small, and then grow from there.
So I have one more question that I want to take before we wrap up. Let me see if I can find it again. How do we overcome loss of business since the pandemic? Viewers, I feel like you should be able to answer this question by now. What has Alex been saying all night? Find the gap and fill the gap, right? Find the gap and fill the gap. So you have had some losses since the pandemic, just like most people have. I definitely had some losses in revenue and viewership since the pandemic as well. But you have to find the gap. So when the pandemic hit, people now have different needs. It's not that needs evaporate entirely.
It doesn't.
People now have different things that they need.
I have had to change over the last 2 years. I have had to reinvent myself and the business itself, like multiple times. Every time there a wave of the COVID hits, I have to know, okay, what's working right now? Okay, can we change? Do we have the resources? Can we manage? How can we do this? Like, for example, right now, I have been more recently been loading all my important files online, which will give persons who work with me and who want to work remotely access to the files. So if they change the file and save the file within a minute, I have access to that very same file updated instantly. So even if I decide that I'm going on vacation in Dubai and something happens, I can just pull my laptop out or my phone and look at the files, give the approval if necessary, or make the modifications from my end. So persons have to just work with the times. You have to know your customer. Back to know your customer, knowing what they want.
And how has their need changed? So perfect example was the restaurant industry. When COVID hit, curfews, lockdowns, and the restaurants weren't getting the walk-through traffic that they were getting anymore.
Delivery became popular.
No, all of a sudden everybody's out doing delivery. You've got to pivot, find the gap. What was the gap? People still want food, they still want to eat, but now they need it delivered and fill that gap. So identify a problem, going back to something that we said earlier. All right, so Alex, it's been a really great conversation in this first webinar series for Quartz Ready Cash. I think now it is time that I can announce the winners of our contest. So, are you ready? Yes, give it a drum roll. So the winner of a free business consultation is Keisha Bailey. Congratulations, Keisha. You get a free business consultation. Yay! Applause, 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 applause.
Go, Keisha.
And the winner of the $50,000 Quartz shopping spree, or should I say 25, because you need to split it with Alex. No, just kidding, it's 50,000. All right, the winner of the $50,000 Quartz shopping spree is LeVar Henry. Congratulations to LeVar Henry. Yay, yay, yay.
Go, LeVar, go.
The sound effects. Can you beatbox?
No.
Need some special sound effects. So congratulations to Keisha Bailey and LeVar Henry, our winners this evening. So we've reached the end of today's session. Unfortunately, it was great chatting with you, Alex.
Yeah, it was good. It was good, and we had some really great questions from persons. And I hope that our viewers did learn something. And remember, see a gap, fill a gap. Okay.
And also remember, Google is your best friend.
It is.
Anything you don't know, Google it. So we've reached the end of today's session, and it's been an exciting and engaging one. And we want to thank you so very much for joining us. We hope that this information was informative and that it will be a good incentive for you, or a good insight for you to help to swim and build back better, as we've been saying. I'd also like to thank Alex, of course, my able co-host, for joining us. And of course, special thanks to Quartz Ready Cash for providing such a useful space for the MSMEs. We want to thank you, and to join us again on the 28th of March. So write that down, put that in your calendar now. March 28th will be our next session, just like this one, another working session. We're going to talk, we're going to take your questions, and we're going to outline strategies for you. Same time, same place, that will be 6 p.m. on Zoom on March 28th. Put it in your calendar, register early, and share with your business friends to join us.
Google Calendar?
Yeah, trust me, it's also on my home screen. The only way I can keep up with everything that I have to do. Everything goes, if it's not in the calendar, it's not getting done. And remember, if you're a micro business owner looking for support, then visit us at readyfinancecaribbean.com. That's readyfinancecaribbean.com. Or you can send a WhatsApp. Take down these numbers, take them down, send a WhatsApp to 876-562-1635. And they're going to post that in the chat so that you have access to that. 876-562-1635. There's another WhatsApp number. You can also use this one, 876-492-3192. That's 876-492-3192. And you can use that if you're a micro business owner looking for support. You can also go, like I said, to the website, readyfinancecaribbean.com, because Quartz Ready Cash is ready whenever you are. Thanks for watching. I'm Kalilah Reynolds, and
I am Alex Get Paid Daily.
Stay safe and see you next time.
All right.